Good evening, everybody. As you can see from the look on my face, I've been through it the last few days. Actually, the last 2 weeks. A lot of unexpected things have happened with Karen that I really thought were going to stay stable and not get out of control. But as a caregiver, I should really know that that is never the case, where once you think you have something under control, everything falls apart. I didn't want to really make this video because I'm emotionally spent, I'm physically spent, but it's too long to write. And I really want you all to know about it because I really don't want any of you to have to go through a similar experience to what Karen and I have had to go through. What I feel is that we were medically gaslit in the last week. Okay, I'm going to start back last week. We're all happy, a little positive. Yes, Karen is still very weak, but I was managing it the best I can. Karen is in a wheelchair now, full time. She can only walk 3 or 4 steps. We do physical therapy in the room when she's here to try to keep her leg strength up so she can even walk those 3 or 4 steps. And even on oxygen 24/7, she still does not have that much physical strength. I noticed last week, now keep in mind that Karen has been in the hospital 4 times this year alone. Last week, starting on Monday, I heard Karen start to cough. Not a cough that you would associate with a bronchial thing, even though it sounded like that. To the average ear, it would sound that way. But then as she was coughing, I saw her stomach react like she was going to vomit. A lot of dry heaving, right? And this was always usually only when I would help her sit up from laying down. And it would dissipate after about 5-10 minutes. Then it would happen again about a half hour later. Nothing came up, but it was concerning to me. Unfortunately, I told dialysis about this, and they never saw any of these things happen at dialysis. So that does not help if they can't see it. So on Monday, it was a certain level, and then it gradually started to increase Tuesday and Wednesday. But once again, it was only when she was getting up from laying down. Now, these are similar symptoms to what hospitalized her the last time in March. So I'm starting to get really concerned. Then we get to last Thursday. And not only once the evening came, not only was the coughing happening when she was sitting up, it was starting to happen while she was laying down. And she started to turn purplish and red. And that caused her to be scared to eat because she didn't want to throw up. But so I had to switch her to an all liquid diet. Protein, protein shakes, broth, what have you. Friday morning, she wakes up. This is last Friday morning. She wakes up and she's coughing so hard that she's turning purple. I had to call 911. So 911 comes, they bring her to the hospital. I'm thinking maybe since it's not, I don't know what it is, because there's so many things that can happen when someone has cirrhosis of the liver and end-stage kidney disease. There are so many things that these doctors will just write that off as that. And, oh, these are just complications and you're going to have to suffer through them. No, I don't buy that. I take too much good care of her and hypervigilance in her care that these are not normal things. If she can't eat and she can't drink because of these violent coughing fits, how is she going to survive? So I state my case to all these doctors down there last Friday. And every time I thought I had them on the same page with me, they would reverse course and say, well, we can't find anything extra wrong with her. What do you mean extra? I'm like, she has 2 terminal illnesses. What do you mean you can't find anything extra? Like, I wanted them to check her gallbladder. And I still think, and I still believe that she might have a clogged artery in her heart. Because why else is the 24/7 oxygen therapy not improving her quality of life? At least to me. So she goes through Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday in the hospital during that whole time. Yes, she had her dialysis treatment. Every time she tried to eat, she either threw it up or it came out as diarrhea. And they didn't seem concerned whatsoever. They had it down as abdominal pain, not realizing that the severity of her not being able to have any nutrition within her body because of these 2 things is going to deplete her even further. It wasn't one of her regular doctors that made this call. It was another doctor. And believe me, I fought as hard as I could for her to not be discharged. But they brought her home on Monday. That, before they sent her home, she had 3 episodes of horrific diarrhea. So obviously when she got home, the ENTs who brought her in the door on the stretcher, when they got her up, she almost collapsed in their arms with me helping them. I got her back into the bed that night. And somehow I was able to get her to dialysis the next morning. I got her dressed. I got her cleaned up. She was still I gave her Imodium so she wouldn't have any diarrhea. And it worked for a little while. And she was able to have protein shake. And I gave her whatever she could handle so she was not completely depleted. She gets to dialysis on Tuesday, and they tell her that her dry weight is negative, that there is no fluid to remove, because that's how badly nourished she was in the hospital. So all they did was a 4-hour session of cleaning her blood. Then they send her home to me. This is Tuesday, this past Tuesday. She gets home. I lay her down in bed. She's exhausted. She takes her dialysis nap. I wake her up about 8:30-ish. And she starts talking to me like she's inebriated, like she's drunk. And her pulse ox is fine. So I check her blood sugar, and oh my God, her blood sugar was 45. 45. She's going into hypoglycemic shock or coma. And if I had waited another hour to wake her up, she might not have been there. So I was able to get juice into her to raise her blood sugar right away. And 20 minutes later, her blood sugar went back up to 140. Yes, thank God. However, the juice came right out the other way 20 minutes later. I can't make this up. You can't make this stuff up. So I had to take her in, clean her up, get her, put a new adult diaper on her, completely clean her up and reassure her that everything's okay. And I love her, and we all love her, and we're going to get through this somehow. And I gave her another Imodium, and she was able to actually eat a small single serving bowl of rice. And she kept it down. And she had more protein shake, and she kept that down. Okay, so that was Tuesday. That was the conclusion of Tuesday night. Now we go to yesterday, Wednesday. She slept until about 2:30, 3. I got her up. I gave her a cup of strawberry applesauce, more protein shake, and she kept that down. And her sugar was normal, pulse ox was normal, and she went back to sleep until about 8:30. 8:30 she gets up. She actually was able to comb out her hair herself without me doing it. So I thought maybe I'm making progress here, because I had a gradual plan to, re-nourish her to build her strength back up. And I exercised her legs in bed for her. I'm doing leg lifts, get her circulation going. And she was able to stomach a single serve plain mashed potatoes last night, because I was going to work it up from rice to potatoes. And then tonight I was going to, real protein, like I was going to try a little bit of chicken, to get her back in the swing of eating regular food without the worry of her having it go out either end. Okay, so last night, dinner went well, gave her night meds. She falls asleep at about, let's say 11:30. I noticed, now I'm still nerves watching her. I want to make sure she's okay. So I noticed that her cannula kept slipping out of her nose a little bit. So I made sure it got put back where it wouldn't fall out. And I thought, I had her all ready to go for dialysis today. At 6:05 this morning, I hear an unmistakable, desperate voice saying, "Papa." And I knew as soon as I heard that voice that I was going to open my eyes and find her in between the beds, in between her bed and my bed, on the floor. And that's exactly where I found her. Not only did I find her like that, she was talking like she did the other night when she had the low blood sugar. So I immediately check her sugar. Sugar's fine, right? Sugar's 160. That's fine. That's not the problem. I put the pulse ox on her. Pulse ox said 76, and her heart rate 101. So then I realized that she's sitting, her leg is on part of the tube, so that she's crushing the tube, but she's dead weight. So now I'm fighting the oxygen tube to get it out from under her leg so she could start breathing normally. I get it. That takes me about 30 seconds. I get that done. I wait to see if her pulse ox comes back up. 5 minutes. It came right back up. However, she was still talking like somebody who had been drinking all night. So I call 911 again. And I feel like such a failure when I have to do that, but I know that's stupid thought. So if you just know, if you're a caregiver and you have to call 911, it's because you've run out of options. And that's okay. They come in here, and I know she wasn't herself because they were able to get her up, sitting back on the bed. But then she started acting like somebody that I've never seen before, because she's never done this before. The EMTs tell her, "All right, Karen, we got to take you on a ride to the hospital." And this is what happened. She goes, "No. And she's never spoken like that to anybody before. So this is definitely not her. And while she's doing this, I'm sitting next to her, and I have my hand gently on her shoulder, trying to comfort her. And she looks at me and she goes, "Don't push me," like that. This is terrifying. I'm thinking that like she's having a stroke. So they get her to the hospital. I get down there because they won't let me ride in the ambulance. I get down there about an hour later in an Uber, and they have her in the emergency room. They had already done a bunch of tests. One of the doctors came in that was not the doctor that discharged the other day and said, "Oh no, I'm definitely admitting her. She's way too weak. She should not have been discharged." He goes, "I understand what you mean." And I noticed while I was standing there, the first 5 minutes I was in there, that they had a catheter finally hooked up to her, and she went to pee, and it looked like a draft beer. I don't mean to be graphic or gross any of you out, but that's what it looked like going into the thing. So I'm like, I know we're at the very least she has a huge UTI. And about an hour later, we find out, yes, that is definitely indeed the case. So at the very least, she has a huge infection that they're treating. The rest of the tests are pending. She had dialysis tonight in the hospital. But they're saying that as weak as she is, she's going to have to maybe go into a short-term rehab facility to build up her strength. Now, this is going to be discussed further tomorrow, but this breaks my heart because we're supposed to move. We're supposed to move. I can't move her like this. And rent's being paid in 2 places now. I can't. This is insane. All of our dreams are going up in smoke. All I care about is her well-being. There's no sense in having a great place to live if she's not healthy and she's not with me. I just want you to know that I'm hanging in there and I'm doing the best I can. And when things get this bad for you, if you're a caregiver, keep going, keep pushing. But you got to get some rest. Otherwise, you're going to look like I look now. And I don't want anybody to have to go through that. Okay? On Patrol Live family, I'm making this video only because I don't have the strength to tweet it or write it right now. I have to get a good night's sleep. And if you do see this and respond to it, please don't get offended if I don't respond until tomorrow. Okay? I need help. I need to regroup. So I'm going to lay down now. Okay? Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. We cherish you guys. Thank you for always being there. I did everything I could. I don't know what's happening here. I don't know if we're I don't know where we're at. We'll talk tomorrow. Have a good night, everybody. Bye.